I've never been so happy to see human faces in my life. It's so good to be back in person. I'm Janet Miller, and I'm the vice chair of the WeGo Board of Directors, and Gail was away on some family business, so I am pinch hitting for her today, so please be patient with me. We really appreciate everybody participating in the WebEx calls. It was February of last year. It has been a long time. And I will say, everybody adapted so beautifully. And it was a strange world. And now it feels strange to be back in person. But we're in a hybrid mode for a while. But just thanks to everybody for your patience as we went through this. And thanks to Charles and the Music City Center folks for hosting us socially distanced today. We're really appreciative. And we thought it would be good to have the extra space today just so we can keep spacing and the mask protocols. So thanks everybody for that. This meeting is being live streamed on the Metro Nashville network. So if you want your parents to see you on TV, call them and tell them to TiVo it. And so Gail, if you're out there in the world, I doubt that you are, but hello, we're missing you today. So I will call this meeting to order. Do I bang this gavel? Is that just adjourn? All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order. And before we call the roll, I'm super excited today because we are welcoming our newest WeGo board member today, Miss Jessica Dolphin, who is sitting here to my right. Jessica is straight off her confirmation at the Metro Council. That's always a fun process to go through. And she is ready to hit the ground running. I know many of us who have been involved in transit for a long time know Jessica. Jessica is the president and CEO of the Transit Alliance of Middle Tennessee. She's been with the Alliance since 2017 and took on the CEO role in 2019. So she knows transit, which is such a gift to all of us. The Transit Alliance is one of the foremost advocates for transit and public transportation in the region, and we love you bringing that perspective to the board. We also think this is an excellent pick by Mayor Cooper because it just reiterates the mayor's commitment to transportation and transit. So please join me in welcoming Jessica. How about a little round of applause? That is great. And I also would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge Mary Griffin. Mary joined us a while ago, but we've never seen her in person before. So I didn't know if she had, if she was a walking, talking person. So I'm so glad to see you here in person. And then Walter also had another commitment that he couldn't reschedule. So you've got the three, you got girl power up here today. So. And finally, before we get to the business of the board, I want to express our thanks and appreciation for Hannah Paramore Breen, who has fulfilled her role in a 5-year term for the MTA board. She has been a great friend of mine for a bunch of years, and I think we would all agree she brought something special to this organization. I think she was really helpful with the rebranding. Every time we see a purple bus go by, we think of Hannah. She was a little dangerous when you put this in her hands, so that risk is going away, Hannah, if you're watching it. But she has been such a great MTA board member, so please join me in, if you see Hannah, thanking her for her service because her term is concluding. So with that, I would now like to conduct the roll call. The meeting is being recorded as well as live streamed, so if you can speak up and note your presence when I call your name. Mary Griffin. Here. Jessica Dolphin.
Present.
Janet Miller, present. In addition, we want to note for the record our additional attendees. So please note your presence when I call your name. Board Secretary and General Counsel, Margaret Bem.
Here.
Steve Bland, Chief Executive Officer.
Present.
Rita Roberts-Turner, our Chief Administrative Officer.
Present.
Hi, Rita. Ed Oliphant, our Chief Financial Officer.
Present.
Trey Walker, Chief Development Officer.
Present.
Andy Burke, Chief Operating Officer.
Present.
Marilyn Yoakley, Access Manager.
Present.
Denise Richardson, Procurement Projects Administrator. Felix Castrodad, our Director of Planning and Grants. And finally, Monica House, our Senior Executive Assistant and Board Liaison. Great, 100%. So our first action item for the agenda is the approval of the April 22nd, 2021 minutes. So may I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I move to approve.
Is there a second? Second. Great. Any questions, comments? Great. All in favor say aye. 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 All opposers? None. The minutes are approved unanimously, so thank you for that. The next item on the agenda is our public comments, and I'm so happy to see Mr. Bull and Mr. Knight back in person and our other public commenters. So we'll do this as we have traditionally. We let folks know that if they couldn't attend in person, to get their comments in writing to Ms. Howes. So I think we've had a couple of those comments. Those will be entered into the record and with the meeting minutes, but we will not read those. But we will hear from our devoted transit aficionados who have come to join us today. And if you'll remember, it's a 3-minute timing or less. So I will kind of keep an eye on the time and wave at you if anybody gets headed towards over that time. So with that, do I have cards? Oh, well, I know we have Mr. Bull. Why don't we start with you, Mr. Bull?
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Jessica, Mary, good to see y'all in person. The rest of y'all too. I'll try to keep it under 3 minutes. I'm a frequent rider, to make an understatement. One thing, the operators and the staff have just been magnificent for the past COVID period. I think it just, I'm touched. I really am. We'll leave it at that. Coming inbound, or riding number 7 outbound on a Saturday morning around 7 o'clock, I noticed the bus was pretty well full. Hadn't seen that in a while. A guy was even hanging from a strap. I was thinking, boy, we're in Chicago here. Where I'm going with that is the last week or so, a lot of more people are riding the bus, which works into the point that I'm making now is the sooner we can get some more funding to really expand things, it will assist the economic recovery, people working, and so on. Coming in this morning, I noticed the stops at Welshwood, the close Walmart, is fully operational now. It looks really slick. It really does. It's good to see it. The North Nashville Transit Center is having an event Saturday at 11 o'clock. I intend to be there somehow, some way. I think that makes a signature statement about where public transit in this county is headed. That's a good move. The WeGo Link, the last mile, first mile project in what I call southernmost Antioch, I'm signed up for it, and I'm looking forward to see how that works. Yeah, to be sure. And here's an idea. Sometimes I have one. Quick Ticket, we're starting to line people up to enroll in that program, which I've been using by my cell phone app, by the way. Working pretty good. The waiting rooms just recently opened. And a lot of Nashville natives, for whatever reason, have not had their vaccination shots. Here's the idea. Combine all that in the waiting rooms. Have the shots administered in the waiting rooms, and maybe sign them up for QT, bus passes, you name it. It's an opportunity for people who are under time pressure to get to have the shots, to be able to do it in a secure environment. And that's all I've got for today. It's good to see y'all.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Bull. It's so
You're
good
welcome.
to see you,
welcome.
in person as well. Next up, we have Mr. Knight.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good to see you.
I want to first welcome Jessica to the WeGo MTA Board. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for all of you and to you as well. I hope that everybody's being safe. I want to say that number one. I just want to bring some concerns to the board. As our city opens back up, I don't want any of us to forget that coronavirus has not left. I want to make sure that WeGo keeps its mask mandate in place, even if the city removes it, for safety purposes at that point, at least inside of the bus and inside of the waiting areas. If pretty much Central is pretty much open, so I don't see an issue there if customers want to take their mask off to breathe. But at the same time, I would like to remind people that they can't smoke inside of Central. I noticed that in the information today, there's going to be an order for 14 New Flyer 60-foot diesel buses. I just want to say that the 2100s are nice. I've made this comment before. Please stop getting light floors. Get a darker colored floor as it'll look a little bit better as time goes by. I would also like to say when it comes to the concern and where our country is as a whole, I have started to notice on certain bus routes that we have some operators and customers who have some racial issues. And I feel strongly about this. I don't care what race you are, but I don't tolerate it. And I have contacted staff immediately and have asked them to pull the tape. I just want to say that I think that it would be a good time before bringing new drivers on to create a program where you kind of go back and have a sensitivity training, not with just the operators, but with all staff. Including maintenance, support, whoever they are. I just want to make sure that we don't end up being the next city that is getting widespread media attention because of racial issues. The other thing that I would like to bring to the attention of the board, and will be my final comment, will be concerning fall service changes. I want to make sure that when Quick Ticket is pushed out, and those fall service changes take place, they aren't done simultaneously. I made a comment like that in 2019 about the really severe cuts that WeGo had to make then. I want to make sure that we don't confuse any of our customers and as well as our advocates. When it pertains to that as well, I would also like to thank the staff, especially operations, Miss Cynthia and Miss Carolyn, for coming out to the Dickerson Pike location at Walmart to see a lot of the issues that I had been reaching out to them about with the changes on Route 23A and Route 23B. I am happy to say that they are reinstating some of those streets back. So I want to say thank you to all the staff for that effort and that work. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Knight. Great to see you. Next up, we have Adam Nicholson. Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here. So I'm a volunteer board president with Transit Now Nashville, and we're another group of local advocates like the Transit Alliance, and Walk Back Nashville, and I'm sure others. So we're still kind of digesting the Metro budget for transit and figuring out what the best advocacy is. But I think for this group, I would just encourage the consideration of Better Bus Phase 1, however that can be funded, federal aid. I know that's probably something being discussed. So best case scenario, Metro gives you even more money and maybe advocates get their voices heard, and Better Bus Phase 1 is budgeted through Metro. But if not, I just would celebrate the success that WeGo has had and full support of your ability to do Better Bus Phase 1. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you so much. We're going to talk about that budget quite a bit today, right? So hang around. There you go. Do we have any other comments? Those are the three that I have. No other comments? So thank you for that. We will put your notes and the comments into the record, and this concludes the public hearing portion of our meeting. So thank you all for your participation. All right, let's see where I am. Okay, so since we have a brand new member and I also serve as chair of the New Initiatives and Community Engagement Committee, both members, unfortunately, of our Operations and Finance Committee weren't able to be here. So rather than handing it over for committees, we're just going to blaze through the agenda as we're going. So appreciate your patience with that. The first thing we have on our agenda is the monthly financial report compared to budget, presented by Mr. Ed. So thank you, Ed. Let's walk through those.
All right, thank you very much. I will be brief based on the agenda that we have in front of us. And actually, I've been sounding like a broken record with the pandemic. As you know, this budget is based on a full year, a full service budget, and I'm on page 7 on the right-hand side focusing. The three things I want to highlight: I'm happy to see that the passenger fares and access ride revenues are keeping pace with what we thought the recovery would be and actually beating it at this point. In the middle of the page, or about a third of the way down the page, I just want to emphasize the use of the CARES Act funding. You can see we've used about $26.1 million of the estimated 29.5. I think that will become important as we discuss the budget down the road here in a few minutes. And then the last thing that I have been highlighting is in the labor and fringes category. You see the unfavorable. With being a full budget year, you would expect everything to be favorable, but that we have been seeing higher health insurance costs, which we'll talk about again in the future, and just wanted to highlight that. And then lastly, on page 8, we have the balance sheet. And for transparency's sake, at the bottom you have the aging, and we always talk about, due to the fact that we manage the RTA, we report the numbers between the two agencies. And on the accounts receivable side, RTA did owe MTA about $205,000 of that $583 total, and in terms of payables, we owed them back for collection of fares and things like that about $23,000. So unless there's any questions, that concludes my report.
Great. Any questions from the board? It's hard to be apples to apples when you've had a pandemic, you know, so, but thank you. Good report. Appreciate that, Ed. The next item on the agenda is our monthly operating statistics, and our Chief Operating Officer, Andy Burke, will be presenting that. Normally, Dan presents that, but he is reinforcing the WeGo family because they have a new baby at home. So we're going to let him off the hook so he can be home with his beautiful baby. And congratulations to Dan and Katie. And Andy, it's great to see you in person. I think this is your first board report. So yes. I'll hand it off to you.
All right. Well, thank you, Vice Chair. I'm happy to be here, to be able to see everybody in person. So today I want to paint a picture of where WeGo is heading as the masses are beginning to recognize that the pandemic is starting to sunset. So gone are the days of sheltering in place, the mandatory face masks indoors and outdoors. So if you turn to page 10 of the board packets, is the operations dashboard report. So first off, we're comparing, as we said, we're comparing to last year of March 2020, where there was a tornado on March 2nd, which caused some impacts to our service, and then COVID-19 happened to follow a few weeks later. So these events dramatically impacted ridership, service routes, and how we operated as an agency. WeGo continued to provide service by following CDC guidelines, by implementing social distance requirements, face masks, installed driver barriers, and had a focus that if you don't need to ride, don't. So now that we're seeing a mass rollout of vaccines and CDC guidelines getting relaxed, we need to begin strategizing and changing directions on how we operate. WeGo will continue to focus on reliable and safe service for our customers. We will ensure that we will not have pass-ups due to capacity constraints. This means that capacity constraints due to social distancing will be relaxed as we anticipate ridership to climb. The CDC is still providing guidance that riders on public transit are required to wear face masks, so we will abide those policies as well. So we will continue to educate and ensure our riders and our drivers are safe while utilizing our transit system. So you'll notice on your commute here to here or to other destinations, traffic is beginning to pick up. So with ridership slowly coming back, we continue to be down about 30% compared to last year. We do notice that our paratransit access program is coming back quicker than our fixed route. And also on our fixed route, we're noticing that on weekends, it's picking up as well. This might be due to, for the access side of things, due to schools and day programs beginning to open up. But also it's giving us an idea to begin prepping for what the next couple of weeks are going to be showing and following into the few months coming ahead. So we'll be monitoring this in future planning as we adjust to post-pandemic service needs. So I'm happy to report that we did not have any preventable accidents for the month of March. Many of the non-preventable accidents are typically other vehicles hitting our buses while they're stopped or cutting in front of buses without enough space. So we see a lot of hit and runs in these reports as well. While our OTP, our on-time performance, has maintained pretty impressive standards of 99%, 98% over the last year, on our access side and high 90s or low 90s for our fixed route, we want to monitor this as traffic congestion begins to pick up. This may cause some delays in our buses. Lastly, I want to emphasize a reliable and safe service for our riders. We will continue to monitor our customer concerns, suggestions, and to ensure we hear our customers as we transition to our new normal. We are in a transitional period here for our transit service as we enter post-COVID. So we need to be focused on what the future brings. As new jobs are entering into downtown, businesses are reopening, live events are coming back, and how schools are going back to in-person, what this means for our ridership. This concludes my report, and I'll take any questions if there are any.
Great. I actually have a question. Y'all know I have a curiosity about it. What does our ridership look like this month versus last month? I mean, we are seeing an uptick.
We are, and it's so from March to February we had that snowstorm and whatnot. So again, each month you're going to have a different type of pattern. But I think what may help is we can probably come up with some type of visual to see how the ridership is beginning to climb. Because
it'll be super interesting on the day that the CDC and the guidelines went to see where ridership, if it spiked up. I think it'd be good for us to know that. So.
Absolutely.
Great. Questions, Mary, Jessica? They're saving all their comments for the budget conversation, the juicy budget conversation. So, well, great. Well, thank you. You made flying colors on your first report. So you did great. Next up, we have Felix, who is going to talk to us about our quarterly route performance. So Felix, great to see you. I know.
Playing down today, so it's not on. All right,
there
better.
You go.
All right, so if you please turn to page 15, that's the quarterly performance report, and again, this report covers the third quarter of fiscal year 21, which is January through March of 2021. One thing you may notice, I'll point out that we are no longer including those routes that we eliminated in the fall of 2019. Mm-hmm. It's been, actually it's gonna be 2 years since we stopped operating those routes in the fall, so they're no longer relevant to compare 1 year to the other anymore. Plus they were cluttered in the report. However, you will still see the routes that were discontinued during the spring changes that we did because of COVID, as we reallocated resources to make sure that we better serve those areas where the demand for the service is. So you'll see those showing us no service. Again, we're still comparing January through March against last year. Andy talked about this, but it was in March where we saw the tornadoes, where we started to see the impacts of the pandemic. So what I'm going with all this is that you're going to see a lot of red, a lot of negative numbers, a big drop in the ridership with this report compared to the previous year. But one thing that you're going to notice probably in the next report, which will be April through June, is that will probably be flatter a little bit, and perhaps up a little bit, as it's going to start reflecting the stage where we are with the pandemic. So one thing I would like to highlight is some of the routes that we targeted for additional service with the spring changes. Of course, our most productive routes, those that carry the most riders and where we have generally the higher productivity. We added considerable service in the spring. So some of the trends that we saw, as I mentioned earlier, was trying to reallocate resources where we were seeing that demand taking place. So I'd like to point out Route 23, Nicholson, for example. It has the highest passenger per hour in the system. And this is one of the routes where we added a lot of the service to bring it in the same level as the other frequent routes. A lot of those changes also were reflective of some of the trends that we were seeing shifting, people riding more throughout the day rather than during the peak hours in the morning and the afternoon. So we were seeing more off-peak travel. And some of the things that we're seeing also is that ridership going back in the weekend service faster, sometimes during the weekday services. Let's see. Oh, and also I'd like to mention with the frequent routes that we added additional frequencies on some of these. We're now operating about 10-minute frequencies on some of these routes, including Route 52, Nolensville, 55, Murfreesboro, and 56, Gallatin. The ridership declines have not been necessarily evenly spread throughout the system. Those frequent routes, or those major routes, are seeing less of a decline. They're under 50%, whereas the system-wide average is about 52% or so. So those major corridors continue to hold better than the rest. There are some exceptions, like in the connector routes, Route 76, the Madison connector, which we added additional service in the spring for that route. But relatively speaking, you can see in the report those routes had more service than others compared to the previous year. And I'll come back again to Route 23, Dickerson, which had a bit more service during this report than it had previous to the pandemic. And what you see is that we added a lot more service also with the spring service changes. So that's part of that reallocation of resources. Andy talked about this a little bit, but I'll just touch on it again. The on-time performance, it just looks pretty good right now compared to what it was before. But we may see that on-time performance going down next quarterly report, as we know that traffic is already beginning to come back. So it'll be interesting how that changes in the next report. I think in closing, this is kind of an odd time for the report because some of the disruptive activities or events that we saw, including the tornado and at the beginning of the pandemic. But as we move forward, I think we're going to start to see some of that shifting taking place, and some of those COVID restrictions begin to be lifted, and we'll see what the ridership is beginning to come back, as John Poole also testified about that earlier. So that concludes my report. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions? Jessica? Harry? Sure.
Thank you for the report. I really appreciate it. And this isn't actually something to do specific to this actual report, but I'd like to put a comment into the record. Everybody already knows I'm from Bellevue, and no, it's not going to be about make the 24X run again right now. I'm actually going to go somewhere totally different. You guys will see this happen. So we now have broken ground on the new high school out in Bellevue, and so we have probably a 2-year period now to get ahead of what will that look like. There may be buses that will take some of the kids to the commuter center, right? And that could play into whether or not there would be, I don't know if it'd be a 24X downtown or et cetera, but I would just like to say that I think it would be helpful to have conversations, between the school folks in these 2 years. I mean, that's a good chunk of time to begin the planning, to say, what is the plan for these kids? Do you expect kids to drive? Do you expect et cetera? And with the extra traffic, as we create a Department of Transportation, I think this would be a good time to see how we can perhaps help support, and including any kids that have any kind of special needs that might that need service, or after-school activities, things of that nature. So I'm just putting that out there. There's no need for you to respond on the spot, but I would like to be part of some of those conversations and to assist in how we can be talking about things in advance instead of kind of waiting and, oh wow, we have, I don't know how many kids go to that high school at this point, but it's going to be a lot of traffic, and a lot of these, are underserved populations, and they deserve to get to do after-school activities. Everyone deserves that chance to, to do that international baccalaureate program that they have. So I have very, very strong feelings about this. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know that's where my thoughts are.
That's
Thank
my
you.
alma mater. I graduated
Oh.
from Hillwood High School 100 years ago. Thank you for that, Mary. Just curiosity, Felix. So as we're considering our service changes in the fall, I mean, it's kind of hard to do it based on year over year. I mean, you can't. You have to throw that metric out, right? So is the most important measure that you look at the passenger per hour? Or I'm sure it's multiple things, but.
Yeah, we keep a good close look at the passengers per hour. It's kind of an indication how many people are riding, depending if you need to put more service on a route versus not. We need to look across the spectrum. Ridership, of course, you may see some routes that look decent in ridership, but passenger per hour may be a little bit lower compared to others. So I think it is an across the spectrum look at, but there's always going to be some stuff that's going to pop up a little bit more than others. And with the Nicholson Pike was one where we were seeing there's a lot more people riding per trip per hour versus the amount of service that we were offering.
Yeah.
And that, of course, and you get that data and you see people are some overcrowding, so you want to make sure that you're providing enough service to be able to accommodate the demand.
It's a good thing we do this a couple times a year because it does change, doesn't it? So, other questions, comments?
Jenna, the
Steve?
only thing I would add on, it's a conversation you and I have had, is we're also tracking this against other metrics in the community relative to the recovery, for lack of a better word. And both Andy and Felix touched on it. We've seen access ridership coming back faster. We've seen weekend off-peak ridership. So a lot of the targets, for instance, of Phase 1 of Better Bus are addressing those off-peak types of services, weekends, midday, extending evening hours. Because through the pandemic, what we kind of saw was, and I know it's near and dear in your business, the office employees haven't come back in anywhere near the numbers that our service sector folks have or our construction workers have, who tend to be kind of all over the clock.
Yeah.
And even with the April changes, that was sort of a philosophy that the board took is, let's put these resources in where we know, these are consistent riders. They ride a lot. They ride very frequently. They don't typically ride at 8 and 5. They ride all over the clock.
Sure.
And let's kind of wait and see how, the quote traditional commuter market comes back. I have no doubt, as I know
They're
you
coming
don't.
back. It's going to be faster.
They're coming back. It's a
Yeah.
question of, okay, how fast and how do we balance those resources when, we're limited on the amount of things we can do.
A lot of the big employers in town are saying, come back, but you can work from home 1 or 2 days a
Yeah.
week. So you still got to provide the service because you don't know what days, right? It's not like everybody's taking Friday off, so interesting. Okay, any other questions? Yes.
I do have some questions and comments, like, yes, I think every office has their own due back date. June 1st seems to be a popular one.
Yeah.
You went back to the office on June 1st. If you're not vaccinated, wear a mask. So there's that. But I also see it's interesting that we're looking at January through March when the spring service changes went into effect April the 11th. So we don't know how they're affecting these numbers, right? This data.
Yeah, you'll have a clear picture with the next
Yeah,
quarter.
that's a good point.
Yeah. So we did with quarterly reports. This specifically is covering the period of January through March. The next one will be looking at April through June.
Right. So saying, for instance, offices do come back in June and July, are there plans to address these routes if they see significant increase in riders?
Yeah, we keep monitoring what those trends look like, and that's part of how we reacted with the spring changes. We keep seeing where those trends are popping up, and I think the question here is how nimble we are to be able to react.
I
And
think that's my question, because we're looking at fall service changes, what, October? Right, so if there's something springs up in between time, they move and push back to the office, for instance.
One thing we did, for example, with the spring changes was to be able to add what we call the short-term service in some of the routes where we put more buses and specific routes or sections of the routes where we were seeing more of that demand. Perhaps, you have a segment where you have a lot more people, but not for the whole route. So we put those buses that will serve just that section of the route to be able to better accommodate a lot of that demand. And that allowed us to be able to provide that in a fairly quick way. But I know Steve wanted to.
Well, the other tracking we have that you're not seeing here is we put on our other hats and we manage the RTA services, which is a hardcore commuter service. And RTA ridership is still down well over 80%. So, you know, without a doubt, those downtown office commuters are much slower coming back. So that'll sort of be, you know, kind of a leading indicator when we start to see that come back. And frankly, in the planning we were doing with the RTA board the other day, we're figuring that could be 2 or 3 years, you know, realistically. And again, a lot of the conversation we had with the board leading up to the April changes was essentially, for lack of a better word, it's a reordering of Better Bus. You know, where we essentially said, okay, we're operating services like the Bellevue Express and the Rivergate Express and the Antioch Express. And someday when we can afford to do it, when we get the funding to do it, we would love to operate more service on Dickerson Pike, which is like jammed to the rafters. So essentially the decision the board made was, well, we need to reorder Better Bus. You know, we need to say Dickerson Pike is important today because of the trends that we're seeing. And someday, you know, maybe it's next year, maybe it's 5 years from now. Hopefully we'll be in a position where we can afford to put some of those other services, you know, that are more boutique, for lack of a better word, you know, back in place, as opposed to, you know, we've always known that frequent service network is kind of the backbone of our entire system, and it's kind of the foundation that everything else is built on.
I mean, I really like seeing that we have still, even during the pandemic, we have 3 high-frequency lines, like within 10 minutes, right? That's what you said.
Yep. 3 or 4 now with Dickerson.
Yeah, with Dickerson.
Okay, great discussion. The Access Television's cutting us off at 4 o'clock, so we're going to keep moving. So thank you so much for that, Felix. So next up, we are going to talk about an external examination of our access system. And so we know how important the mission is for the access system, and we expanded during the pandemic when we partnered with the Public Health Department to undertake some special initiatives to help the most vulnerable in the community access COVID testing and vaccination sites. So I'm excited that we've got Marilyn Yoakley, our access manager, and Denise Richardson, our procurement project administrator, to give us more background on the status and present a contract. So we do have a board vote that we need to take on a contract award recommendation that you guys are bringing. So welcome, thank you. Hand it off to you.
Okay, thank you. And I'm Marilyn Yoakley for the new members, and I'm the access manager at WeGo. And this action item can be found on page 17 of your board packet. I'm just going to provide you a little bit of background about access and why we are looking to do this study at this time. This study will include not only a review of how we currently operate internally, our structure, our policies, our procedures, but how we can move forward with our demand responsive services and how we can integrate that into our broader network, and how our current fixed bus route can be more utilized by persons with a disability. Currently, we have over 6,000 registered access customers in Davidson County. Currently, these persons have 2 options available through WeGo. The core ADA service, the traditional access, it's the door-to-door transportation for any person that is unable to navigate our current fixed bus route network. It's provided throughout the whole of Davidson County. And what that means, even in the areas of Davidson County that are underserved by our fixed route service, we do provide access service to those individuals. And we mirror our fixed route hours of operation. So if there is a bus on the road at 4:45 in the morning, any person that is eligible for access can also request a ride in that time frame. Of course, as it is the core ADA service, all requests have to be reserved from 1 to 7 days in advance. And currently, all the reservations are handled by WeGo staff by either phone or email. We deliver our core service on our vehicles, and we also have 3 contracted service providers. Pre-pandemic, we were averaging 33,000 trips per month on the core service, and we provided 75% of that service on our in-house operated vehicles. Over the recent years, we've heard from our disability community that they want more choice and more flexibility. So in early 2018, we launched our same-day or our Access on-Demand program. This program allows any access eligible person the freedom to schedule a same-day trip with as little as 2 hours notice. These trips are available to them Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. until 6 p.m. And again, it is throughout the entirety of the county. This service is solely delivered through our contracted providers, and the customer has a choice. They contact their provider of choice and arrange their transportation directly through them. Pre-pandemic, we were averaging about 4,500 trips per month on Access on Demand. During the pandemic, and as Janet alluded to, the WeGo Access team worked with our community partners such as Public Health, MDHA, Neighborhood Health, and the Rescue Mission to provide transportation for COVID testing and or to a vaccine site. And this was available to any Nashvilleian who did not have any other transportation options. To date, we have provided transportation for over 600 individuals who would not otherwise have been tested and or received a vaccine. So why are we doing this now? Well, a lot has changed in Nashville since we last did this 10 years ago. Traffic, population, just to name a couple. Providing an efficient service in this ever-changing environment, it presents its own set of unique challenges. Working with APAC, the Access Ride Policy Advisory Committee, as well as MAC, the Mayor's Advisory Committee for Persons with Disabilities, WeGo understands that reliable transportation is vitally important, not only for persons with a disability, but to our ever-growing senior population as well. The end goal with this project is to assist WeGo in transforming what we currently do with our existing paratransit operations into a dynamic service that is flexible, reliable, efficient, and more importantly, it is sustainable. I'll now turn it over to Denise, who will discuss the procurement process and the consulting team that we selected.
Thank you. I'm Denise Richardson, the procurement administrator for this project. As noted in the board action item, we received 4 proposals. All of the proposals were very strong, and it enabled the evaluation committee to really focus on which team had the best approach to look at the whole access program from start to finish and to more nimbly respond as our transportation needs change. So my comments today about the KFH group should not in any way reflect negativity of any of the other proposals, but I'm going to talk about why the KFH group's proposal stood out and was rated highest by the committee. The public engagement piece of this project is tremendously important, and we were very grateful to have Natasha Wilkins from APAC on our committee, who gave us very thoughtful comments about each proposer's public engagement process. And at the conclusion of those discussions, the committee determined that the KFH group's public engagement proposal was in fact the strongest. In addition, the company has done similar studies around the country, particularly for the city of Indianapolis, which geographically, their public transit program and their access program is very similar to ours in terms of scope and breadth of reach, and that was very important to us. Also, they've done similar work in Ann Arbor, Houston, and in Austin. They also brought to the proposal a strong background in pedestrian pathway bus stop access, which means going out and identifying what hazards exist that prevent people to getting to the bus stop, which is tremendously important. And they've done that for WMATA in Washington, as well as the cities of Santa Fe, Corpus Christi, and others. Also, their cost proposal was extremely competitive below our estimate, which was important, but also right in the middle of all of the proposals that we received. So we really understood when we looked at their cost proposal and their allocation of hours, that they understood exactly where they needed to put emphasis and what their work needed to be. They also brought to the team a specialty software specialist in Access Ride software, which is its own national niche market, which I, as a procurement person, was pleased to find that they had an expert on that team, because one of the things that we need to look at in this study is to maximize the use of our existing software before we make any decisions to go out and change it. And that was something also that was unique in their proposal. The DBE component for this project, we had a participation goal of 16%. All of the proposals exceeded that. KFH is a DBE. Their participation, as well as the work that will be done on public engagement with Fairpoint Planning, brings the DBE participation to this project up to 54%. So on that basis, on behalf of the agency, I am asking the board to authorize the award of the Access Improvement Study to KFH at a cost of $691.56, with a contingency of $69,000, bringing the total budget for the project to $700,000 for a contract term of 24 months, a substantial completion milestone at 18 months so that we can make sure the project stays on schedule. Also, we will be funding this study using CARES Act funds. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Great. Any questions? Well, can I get a motion? Let's get a motion in a second, and then we'll have discussion. Do I hear a motion to approve the staff recommendation? Jessica? Second?
A second.
Okay, great. Now we can have a conversation. Questions, comments?
I'll make a comment. This sounds like a great plan or study, and I look forward to seeing the outcome. It's long overdue if it's been 10 years since it was last studied.
Yeah, this will be an active project, Janet, in the NICE committee. You'll be hearing from our group and the consulting team throughout the process, because it will certainly have some policy implications downstream.
Mary, any comments?
Just that when I came on board, helping the disability community was one of the very big things, and you touched on all the points that I want to hear, and I thank you. The hazards, the Access Ride software, and the DBE, are all of those things. Thank you very much for the work that you do for us. Thank you.
Great. Any other questions, comments? If not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Excellent report. Thank you so much. The motion passes. So before we move on to our budget conversation, I did want to draw everybody's attention to the list of active upcoming procurement projects. There's quite a lengthy list here, so please take a look at that. And if you know of firms that we should be reaching out to, let us know. So really appreciative of that. So now that we have made it through the operations side of things, we're heading over to the NICE committee, and our primary conversation will be around the budget this year. We do not have action items today. This is really a time for discussion, but we will be having action items at the June meeting, which is to approve the actual budget, and then we'll have the capital improvement plan in June, and then our fall service change vote will come in July. And we've got 3 separate discussion items, but we all know they're completely intertwined, right? So that's the plan for today. We've got a lot of material to cover, so be patient with us. And for the board, I would say, because it is a lot of material, if you've got a question, just jump in the middle of it. So if we wait till the end, we may forget what we heard at the first of it, because there's so much complex information there. So with that, I'm going to kick it off and hand it over to Steve, who's going to begin our discussion.
Well, and I'll kind of do an introduction. The one thing that is routine about this year is we typically have about 3 contact points with the board on the budget, usually early in the calendar year, when we're planning for our budget request submission to Metro. Then about this time, when we have an idea what the mayor's budget proposal is, and then obviously in June when we adopt a final budget for the following fiscal year. So that part of this year is the same as history. Nothing else is like anything we've ever seen before. Pandemics, infusions of federal aid, to throw all that in. We have Colonial Pipeline reminding us that fuel volatility is sort of out there in the background. We're currently in negotiations with ATU Local 1235 over our collective bargaining agreement. So I think Ed would agree that this year's budget is probably more art than science. So with that, we want to talk to you about some of the trends, a lot of them very positive, some of them somewhat concerning. And as Janet alluded to, these are very much intertwined because particularly with the federal COVID relief resources we have, there's essentially some unprogrammed funding and a significant chunk of it that the board has discretion toward. It can be applied toward, with obviously there's no such thing as a federal dollar without any restrictions. But these are quite frankly more flexible than what we're used to seeing. So they can be applied toward capital projects, they can be included to sustain our operations. And frankly, to the extent there are unknowns, we can hold some, for lack of a better word, in reserve to make sure that we can keep service and fare levels stable for customers over the long term. So what I would ask is that you kind of keep that being mindful. I don't think it's super essential that Felix will talk to you about what sources of funding we have, and Ed will talk about specific line items, and Trey will talk in detail about facility projects. But in the back of your mind is kind of how you end up wanting to pull the levers on, you know, what kind of goes into each of those buckets. So with that, I'll ask Ed to start off. We have a number of slides. I hope you can see the screen.
And if you can't, you hopefully have a handout that shows it as well.
And if you need me to move my big head to
You're
see
good.
it.
Your
Be
big
careful
head's
about
fine.
that. Well, first of all, just for the people watching, this is on pages 21 through 28 is all of the background material that Steve just talked about, and a lot of the slides in there we will have up on the screen. But let me just start out with the slide that we have up on the screen right now. Basically, this first chart is showing Metro's annual operating subsidy support and the trend for it over the last 7 years compared to the Consumer Price Index based on fiscal year 18 pricing. What this chart is really showing is that the mayor's recommended budget does in fact catch us up in terms of inflation. After seeing 3 years of flat funding and then of course the big drop in funding last year that we used CARES Act for that you can see on the right-hand side of that chart in the red to make up for it. But basically this gets us back up to whole and allows us to stabilize the existing services that we have. So we are very appreciative of the mayor's recommendation, although it does still need to go through council, as everybody knows. But it's definitely a step in the right direction, and we're grateful for that. Now, the last thing on this, on the very far right side, one thing that it does show is that the mayor's recommendation does not cover the proposed Better Bus service that Steve has alluded to, and we will be having that theme throughout this presentation. So I'm going to leave that till we hit that topic again later. So next slide, please. This chart basically shows our cost per hour trends as it relates to our overall budget dollars that are usually in, over the past several years between $80 and $90 million as far as a total budget. What it tells us is that in spite of the funding that Metro included with decreases, with flat funding and the decrease this past year, we've still been able to manage our resources pretty efficiently, as you can see how those lines come together with the bar charts. One thing I do want to point out that I know the board has noticed in the operating statistics when it's been given, and we've talked about it and Dan's talked about it, is that our operating cost per hour right now during the pandemic has been extremely high. But that is basically due to the fact that we've been running reduced services and you've got a lot of fixed costs in our budget, and we've been keeping people whole with CARES Act. So as I said, we had budgeted for a full year. So you're seeing those fixed costs being spread over fewer dollars. Now that will normalize itself as we begin to add service back, especially you'll see a big change once we have the service come back in, hopefully in October, that we will be talking about very soon.
The only thing, if I could amplify a couple of the things that Ed said. One is it's a specific target of ours, and I know of the boards, to make sure that as we are able to get extra, I'll call it extra resources above and beyond inflation, that we're able to pump those directly into services for the end public. And that's certainly back in the 2014, 2015, 2016 period when Metro was giving us, those larger increases, it did result in service expansion. So we really do target a close examination of that cost per hour. But when we get into talking about the capital plan, it also has implications. Ed alluded to having to amortize fixed costs over service hours. So as we add on new facilities, as we add on new initiatives that aren't directly service related, that does have an impact. I know that I think Darius or John, one of them referred to the event we're having this Saturday on North Nashville Transit Center. It's going to be a tremendous facility when it comes online. I know that already. But it's also going to add a line item to our operating budget, that is going to be pretty much independent of the number of hours we operate. So as you're kind of walking through capital projects, it's important to kind of keep in mind what some of those long-term obligations are.
Yeah, because, and then, thanks, Steve. And also, I kind of want to talk about a lot of the expenses that make up this cost per hour, because as you know, labor and benefits is a very large part. When you look at our labor costs, our pension, our health care, that's well in excess of 70% of the total budget on an annual basis. So it's really critical. And as Steve mentioned just a minute ago, we are at the table right now with the ATU in terms of collective bargaining, so that we will know what those costs are going to look like in the next 3-year contract that's due to start in July of this year. So another one that I do want to touch on before we move on to the next slide is the volatility. Steve also mentioned the volatility in fuel. Colonial Pipeline kind of brought that to the table for everybody to see. But basically what we've done since 2009, the last time we had a huge fuel crisis, if you remember, in 2008, we have partnered with Metro to do fuel hedging, not for nothing more than to stabilize our budget and be able to know what those costs are. It's very important to know that the budget that we're going to submit next month includes some very favorable fuel prices. We are in partnership with Metro, and the minute the pandemic hit, we keep an eye on it, and fuel prices, if you remember, oil prices absolutely bottomed out. And we took advantage, maybe there's a silver lining in this cloud, but at least in terms of fuel it is, and we were able to lock in hedge pricing for diesel for fiscal year 22 at $1.23 for diesel and 98 cents for gasoline. So it's also important to note before I move off is that we will need to keep that in mind when we move into fiscal year 23's budget, because it's going to see a big reversal back to more normal pricing. But because of this spike down, it's going to create a spike up that's usually wouldn't be there. So, but I think this really gives you an idea of how we have controlled the operating expenses. And this next slide, one back, please, Rob. Thank you. This next slide, we thought we'd throw this in. This chart is just to give you some additional perspective on what our cost per hour looks like when you apply the consumer price index based on fiscal year $14. And basically, it's showing that we still have been able to manage pretty well with our costs in compared to inflation and kept it at least under that. So I just wanted you all to have a good understanding of, as Steve said, the cost per hour is a pretty indicative and very important measure for us to know how we're actually doing and compared to our peers as well. So next slide. This next slide is basically on the federal relief packages. As you know, we have the CARES Act and the Rescue Plan that we have received funding for. And before I jump into that, just to give you an idea, Steve kind of alluded to it, on the CARES Act, it's 100% funding. It can be used for capital planning and operating. There's no deadline for completing any of expenditures under the CARES Act. Whereas the Rescue Plan, while it is still also 100% funding, it has a strong emphasis on operating costs, and basically you have to prove you don't need those operating costs in order to move that money. And another important characteristic is that it must be obligated by fiscal year 24 and expended by fiscal year 29. So this slide is basically showing you both of the CARES Act and Rescue Plan. And as I work my way up the CARES Act column, you can see the gray and the blue sections basically represent the CARES costs used to cover lost revenues from our lower ridership, contractual revenues from RTA, because they, as Steve alluded, they've been running at reduced services, so our contractual services to them were also reduced in terms of our income. There's also rental income losses related to our Premier Parking and Dunkin' Donuts, which I've kept the board updated on. Dunkin' Donuts continues to improve month by month, and we're still waiting for the parking industry to catch up. and until those people decide to open up their businesses downtown, it's going to be a very slow recovery. They'll probably be on the tail end of that as people do come back to the offices. But these two sections, the blue and the gray, also represent the operating costs that we went to reduce services, but we wanted to keep our people whole. We had worked for 4 days, get paid for 5. We have enhanced cleaning practices that incurred additional costs for the supplies and things like that, as well as the healthcare costs. We had, when an employee was out for COVID sick, we didn't charge their sick time. We took care of that on our side. The actual healthcare costs, as you know, I reported back last month that we had about $1.4 million of the spike that I've been talking about in healthcare related to COVID treatment. So it's those things. Now, some of those are going to be going away, obviously. We've already started seeing a drop in, we've gone back to a 5-day work week, and we're not seeing the COVID home, COVID sick as much, and that will slowly go away. One of the things that we are going to keep in place is the enhanced cleaning practices, though. We see a great benefit to that. We think it's important to show the public and our employees that how important it is to maintain safety for everybody. So we will keep those in place for any future, hopefully not, but any future emergencies or pandemics that might come down the pike. As you move on up, the red is very self-explanatory. That's the replacement of the funding that Metro cut us last year, and we used CARES Act for it. And then you have the yellow, which is about $7 million worth of capital projects. Basically, it's the driver barriers that we put on the bus. It's to retrofit the buses and upgrade the air filtration, the flow, some resiliency studies that we're going to be doing just to be prepared for future emergencies. So the conclusion of this chart is the green boxes that Steve alluded to. We have about $10 million of CARES Act that has not been allocated to anything yet, and the $46 million that we received in CARES Act funding. So a total of $56 million, which, as Steve said, will be the board's discretion to determine, and we have some ideas for that, but we will be talking about that more as we move through the presentation. And that pretty much concludes, unless there's questions in that regard.
So let's pause before we go off into the service change discussion. So, I'd love to get y'all's feedback. My first thought is these one-time funds are an absolute gift, right, in this unprecedented time, but they're one-time funds. And if we adopt the mindset that these funds are going to make us whole, because we've got to get to a sustainable funding level. So I would say that. I would also say we're incredibly grateful, I know I am, for Mayor Cooper and his team for fully funding, because that was a frightening prospect if we could not get our full funding back. So we're really appreciative of that, and this will begin to start working on the transportation plan. So those were positive things, but I don't want us to get all excited and think, ooh, we've got $56 million, because it is, we're in a precarious funding situation for the long haul, is kind of my take. What about you two? Any comments or questions?
Yeah, I want to say what a great job WECO has done, taking care of your staff, taking care of your folks, keeping your operating expenses low within your scope, and keeping your enhanced cleaning practices, I think, is brilliant. It's a good idea. Janet, I'm with you on that. Like, we cannot lose sight that these are one-time funds. So funding recurring expenses and services makes me kind of nervous. I'm going to put it out there before we even have that conversation, because we don't know. Given the volatility that we've seen in the past and are continuing to see in Nashville specifically, we don't know what the city will do in the future. There's even a referendum in July to overturn the property tax increase that could potentially change the funding that we're promised today, regardless of whether we push for added Better Bus funding, right? So yes, this is a gift, but using it intentionally and thoughtfully is job number one. Thank you.
No, I concur. I'll have more comments once we get to the Better Bus portion. Okay. Yeah.
Let's keep moving. So Felix now is going to lay out the fall 21 service changes. And Felix, I know we've got a lot of detail here. Let's kind of keep it top line and not get too dug into the individual routes.
Will do.
There you go.
All right, no problem. Next slide, please. Just a quick recap. We talked about this earlier, but back in the spring, we basically addressed some of the issues we were seeing with the pandemic, the shifting in the ridership trends. So we strategically decided to reallocate resources and be able to better serve the demand. And of course, all this happening with the background of the financial constraints that Metro was having at the time. So we were able to bring the service to about 90% with the spring service changes. Our goal for the fall is to bring the service levels to 100% and then start implementing some of those better bus priorities. Of course, with the Metro's, with the proposed budget from the mayor, we know that they funded us to the baseline with inflation, but they didn't fund the request for phase one. So we're proposing to move forward with that with some of the federal money. Our guiding principles, of course, as I mentioned, we want to make sure that we bring this to pre-pandemic levels. Now, what that system is going to look like is probably not going to be the same. And we continue to, as we did with the pandemic, we continue to monitor those trends, assess, adapt, and to better respond to those system needs. We'll make sure to look at social equity, make sure that we are bringing enhancements for the majority of the riders, that we have a good balance between our needs, and then that we address emotion and remain nimble as we move through that process. Next slide, please. I won't touch very deeply on these, but basically we're proposing some routing changes with these service changes. In this case, this is Route 5 in Bellevue. We're proposing to simplify the service. The current patterns of that route change depending on the morning or afternoon. And it can be confusing because for riders, so we wanted to make it simpler, follow a one predictive routing, following in the same route in the morning and in the evening. So we'll be doing additional target outreach for this area. Next slide, please. This is another one, some of the route modification for Route 22, Bordeaux. Currently, we've been operating on a detour that probably is going to be about a year that we've been operating this detour, keeping the route from Rosa Parks turning into Garfield to continue toward Clarksville Pike. We're proposing to keep that detour as the permanent routing for Route 22 and this particular portion of the route. Next slide. This is a comparison of some of our peers and where we stand in terms of the amount of service that we provide per capita. So the lighter shade of purple that you see at the top, that is with the better bus improvements, and that represents about 30% of service increases. And you see that where we are today is at the bottom of the pack. Even with those improvements, we still be in the middle of the pack. So it's more of an important, I guess, message for us that we continue to start implementing these so we can start making strides toward that. Next slide. And again, we've divided kind of the different phases that we want to implement with the Better Bus. All of these is included in the recently adopted Metro Nashville Transportation Plan. So we want to make sure that we continue to move these in a way that makes sense. And some of this is going to be more important as we move toward some of those other phases because it's going to have an impact on the capital plan as well. Next slide. With the proposed service changes and now getting more into what we're proposing with Better Bus, we're proposing an additional 35,500 hours of service, and that amounts to approximately 7% increase at service over pre-pandemic. And you can see on this chart, the majority of it is going to longer span, providing earlier and later service. Connections, these are opportunities to make better connections outside of downtown, extension of routes, a new route. Better frequency, and changes to the access service as well. Next slide, please. This is a summary of what we're proposing as far as the span for service improvements. But basically, we are proposing to have earlier and later service for the frequent network, and you see what those routes are there on the right. We'll be extending that to 12:15 weekdays and Saturdays, and to 11:15 p.m. on Sundays for the frequent. On the local routes, will be some of the routes will be starting at 5:15 a.m. On Saturdays, and most of the routes will be extending to 11:15 all throughout the week. And I just want to mention on the earlier service for the frequent, that's for all the routes, not some of the routes. Next slide, please. On the frequency improvements, we're proposing a better frequency evenings and weekends for the frequent network. So about between 20, 30 minutes frequencies. And then on the local routes, we are specifically upgrading the Route 8, which is one where we're seeing some of that demand, to weekday peak times, about 30 minutes from, I think it's 40 minutes right now. Next slide. These are route extension or route changes related to Better Bus. The Route 17, where we are extending to connect from Lipscomb all the way to the Hillsborough Transit Center. So this is going to be a great opportunity for us to do what's in Better Bus. Next slide. This is a new route, a new connector route that we are proposing, Skyline. This will connect Hunters Lane High School, the Skyline area, including the medical center, and then a connection to Madison, to the library. We're also going to be asking people about potential connection to Route 34 at the former Kmart in Madison. Next slide. As far as access goes, we're extending that span to match the fixed route service. And for access on demand, we're extending the hours to 8 o'clock. It currently stops at 6 p.m. Next slide. You've been briefed about WeGoLink, but this is part of our efforts for equity and be able to provide access in lower dense areas to connect to better service, and in this case with Route 55, Murfreesboro in Antioch. Next slide. We also want to make sure that we implement the quick ticket as part of our new fare collection program. We're going to, riders can create accounts. They'll be able to take advantage of some of the bulk discounts that this offers. It's of course a key social equity initiative that we're going to be doing in this regard. We may get an impact on some of the form of lost revenue, but I think in the flip side, it's going to be able to generate better and more ridership and get people to ride more. Next slide. And then as far as the next steps go on the service proposals, we have a couple of meetings that we'll be scheduling, or there is already scheduled for public comment. Public comment will start on the 26th and will run through to June 16th. And we're going to be doing some additional targeted outreach, especially in those areas where we're making routing changes. And then we'll bring these recommendations back to the board in July, and changes will go into effect on October 3rd.
The only things I would amplify from Felix's presentation is the things that are for certain recommendations are going back to 100% of our pre-pandemic service level, and some of the routing changes pending what we hear back from the public. The Better Bus, which took up most of his presentation, falls into that category of where we might be able to apply some funding. And those are subject to change, considerably depending on what we hear in the public process. So there's no action that we're requesting today. It's basically to review. We'll go to the public. They'll do the Title VI. We'll come back and have discussion, hopefully with some more information between now and your July meeting.
So the plan is for the upcoming fiscal year to use some of these CARES Act of that $56 million and have faith that we'll be able to put it into future baseline budgets.
Right. If the direction is, if that's the direction we set, because the feedback we got from the mayor's office when the budget came out was obviously we were ecstatic that we got our baseline funding back. Frankly, they said we were sorry we couldn't honor the Better Bus request. It was something they wanted to do. They're still in, frankly, post-pandemic and post-explosion and post-tornado recovery mode, so there's still some unusual expenses and some uncertainties. But they're very invested in the mayor's transportation plan that was adopted by council, which obviously calls for these types of improvements. They're obviously fully aware, and we've been very transparent about the federal aid. So hopeful that, we could kickstart some of the Better Bus enhancements, and then, Janet, to your point, those in future years would have to roll into that baseline funding to be sustainable.
Jessica, Mary, comments, questions? We're taking this in tranches, so.
So, yes, I just want to get, as I had read through my packet and just kind of put some comments out there about the funding, and I'm well aware, I'm a Nashvilleian. I mean, I'm well aware of, the challenges that we have. It's affected, obviously, all of us and our family members, all of the different tragedies that have hit us at the same time. But I'm also aware that there's a history, to the funding that goes back, and that I don't want to always, I want to be mindful always of the different ways that transit has been, treated over time. And, I'm aware that there were years, quite some time back, and it may have been as far back as, as 2014, where, $35 million might have been given to, what is now MTA WeGo in 1 year, right? And so I want to talk about that because I recognize, where we are now, but I don't want to lose sight of the fact that for me, better bus will probably be called an enhancement, right? And to me, it's the cost of doing business. I was a rider. I was one of the 24X people from Bellevue that made myself super popular, I'm positive, by voting that would go away, right? Because I don't currently go to work downtown, and neither do most of those of us that were riding at that time. But, as we have to look at what's going on right now, I am still a proponent that we also look at tranches that are in longer periods of time and in 10-year periods of time, and including benefits, when we're looking at employee benefits and those fixed costs and the other costs, and that, we say, or that we say as a board, look, the cost of doing business to be minimally relevant is, and I'm not taking anything away. These are wonderful initiatives. I always come across, but we're doing amazing work with so little money. And the mayor has given us a gift, a true gift. But I always want to, have out there as well that our goal is not to be average. We were the it city, which I frankly would say is not my goal as a Nashvilleian and someone who wants to live here. My goal is not to only serve everyone who comes and visits, right? This is a time of, building on our infrastructure as well, and on thinking about what will bring people to ride the bus so that we'll give more money to the bus. And I'm just well aware of that as somebody who rode it, every day, and hopes to one day have several days a week that I will ride it again and to get that service back, as well as the other parts of town. We want everybody to be able to feel good about riding the bus. And, a great city, which is where, I think we're headed back to, we're going to get 2nd Avenue fixed, all of those things, will include a city where we, from wherever in Nashville, can take the bus at 10 o'clock at night and get home from the symphony to wherever in Nashville, right? I mean, we don't have a subway. We don't have, those other forms of transportation, and everyone agrees that the bus is what we want to see, except for driving cars. Mm-hmm. We now know that if we all drive our cars, we can't get to work. So, again, I'm always passionate about the things that I am, but
point.
I want to say, I think, I'm a fan of Better Bus, and that one of those things is the cost of keeping us relevant, and that we go ahead and I think we're part of that big transportation plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good, excellent point. I'll say amen to that. We got to keep moving along. Jessica, anything to add?
Sure. I want to say thank you for including social equity as one of your guiding points and guiding posts. Excellent work on that. And I was just curious, because I don't know off the top of my head, but the graph where we're next to all the cities, and we're, even if we were to fund Better Bus enhancements, we still puts us in the middle of the pack. We're still not leading in anything or showing the best of Nashville as far as public transit could be, because a city with great public transit is a great city. Mary, do they have dedicated funding sources already?
Well, the interesting thing in that graph, Jessica, is pretty much everything to the left below us does not, and everything to the right above us does. So I promise that she and I did not discuss that question
It was an
before she
excellent
teed it
question,
up
though.
so elegantly.
Yeah, excellent point. All right, man, you blazed through that beautifully, Felix. You're so good. All right, now, Felix is going to stay, and we have Trey, and we're going to take up the capital plan, the capital investment plan. So,
Sure
hand
thing.
it back over to you guys.
We'll tag team and we'll be fast through this as well. We're going to bring the plan to you in June, so we just wanted to give you kind of a quick peek of what we're looking at. Can you please advance, Rob? Thank you. So, you know, it's a 5-year plan. We put an emphasis on making sure that we meet some of those needs that are going to be essential for us, including state of good repair and new projects along with the transportation plan. Next slide. This is just a quick look to remind you that we have different federal, funding sources that play into it, including federal, state, local, and others. So it's a combination of different sources that play into, you know, what makes the revenues and how we apply those to the different projects. Next slide, please.
Take over here. Thanks, Felix. So looking back at our capital plan from FY20, and this is, if you recall, it's a 5-year plan that stretches through FY24. There's a total of about $193 million separated in about these 5 categories that we show here. I will note that the safety and regulatory percentage is rather small here, but that also is, those investments fund a significant portion of our operating budget as well as we work with our safety and security teams in the operating budget. The biggest piece of the pie that you can see there are operating transfers. And so what we're doing here is through eligible federal programs, we are transferring capital dollars to our operating budget. And that actually takes up over half of our capital plan that you see. The next biggest chunk is for state of good repair. And that's what Steve alluded to earlier, just taking care of our assets. So the board adopted a transit asset management plan a couple years ago. And so this is includes items such as bus replacements, facilities maintenance projects, IT hardware and software upgrades, as well as the maintenance and replacement ultimately of our shelter program, so our on-street network as well. And then when you start looking at the yellow and the green showing the graph, that shows our business improvement strategies, and then ultimately the expansion efforts and projects. So this includes items such as our transit centers, and then the business improvements like you heard about earlier with our access studies and moving towards long-term strategic efforts. Next slide, Rob. As we're looking here at the percentage of federal formula funding history, this is those federal programs that are utilized to cover operating expenses. So if you look over the course of time, the red and the purple shown in the graph are those transfers. So they start off in 14 and 15 being relatively large portions, but you do see that increase through the 2018, 2019, 2020, and 21 to where they are, you know, well into the majority, moving into a large portion of those federal formula funds. And so we'd note that this increase in operating transfer is taking up that significant portion of the federal funding, and that reflects the time period when Metro was not increasing operating expenses.
Before Trey jumps off that was actually very deliberate conversations between MTA and Metro going back to 2013, 2014, where essentially there was very much a desire to expand service. It was tougher for them to provide operating dollars, easier to provide capital dollars. So it was kind of reflected in, okay, we can use an increasing percentage of our federal aid in things like preventive maintenance and ADA, as long as you're giving us those capital dollars to buy the buses and fix the buildings and do the things that have to be done on the capital asset side.
And that trend is reflected in the next slide, Rob.
Next slide.
So you can see in those early years with the Metro capital spending plan trends, the early years from 13 to 17 averaging north of $20 million a year, and then the downturn from in 19, 20, 21. And those efforts went to fund, Rob, to the next slide. Efforts that first and foremost included in the dark blue, federal grant matching, holding constant throughout all the years, but also a lot of fleet replacement efforts that's shown in the red through in 13 through 18, and then also kind of strategic projects that included our fare collection system, the implementation of new shelter expansions and things of that nature. So that encompasses other projects. You will notice an uptick in FY21 that encompasses the recent CSP that was passed by Metro. Next slide.
So taking a quick peek into some of those key projects, of course, we have to maintain a state of good repair. That includes, keeping our fleet, replacing those buses that are beyond that useful life, doing the same with maintaining our facilities, our three main facilities, the garage, the administrative office, and Wego Central, and then other needs related to the stop amenities. But also looking at growth and expansion, we have projects included in the Metro Nashville Transportation Plan, including fleet expansion that is closely related to the Better Bus, and also shelter expansion and upgrades. These are locations that were identified in the adopted plan that will require additional right-of-way or additional improvements. Next slide. So the key takeaway here is that the project went through, or the transportation plan went through a process of community outreach, and transit kept coming on top as part of all those meetings. And so there's a lot of priorities when it comes to the plan based on transit. Next slide. But so taking that into consideration, if you place what those needs are, capital needs from the transportation plan on top of what our regular state of good repair and maintenance needs, it just keeps getting better, bigger and bigger over the years. So those needs are gonna continue to increase. So we have to be able to maintain that, to approach those needs and outlining the capital plan. Next slide.
So we take a look at the effort this spring from Metro and their capital spending plan that was passed earlier this year. You'll see that the total plan itself contained about $475 million in spending. And of that, about a quarter of it, or $120 million, was towards transportation in general. While only $6.6 million of the $120 million dedicated to transportation is for transit, we do anticipate seeing benefits to the other portion as investments in items such as traffic management system, traffic control center, and general pedestrian facility improvements will ultimately benefit transit and our riders. For the $6.6 million that is programmed for WeGo, about 4.5 of that will go to those grant matching programs that we'll be utilizing, with an additional $2 million that's intentionally programmed for shelter expansion and stop improvement program. And as a note to those, we are currently working on designs for some of those stations, and they'll be online later this year. Next slide. Looking ahead at our Metro capital improvement budget projections, you'll see consistently maintaining that grant matching funds year over year, and also the inclusion of our fleet replacement plan with continued investments in stop improvements and transit centers. And as Better Bus implementation moves forward and it continues, you'll see additional fleet expansion eventually coming online. And then in the out years, we begin to see some of those fixed gadway improvements with items such as the WeGo Star. To wrap up our discussion and to kick off our discussion here, looking at some of the directional issues that we have. Next slide, please, Rob. For discussion as we consider our capital plan. As Ed and Steve mentioned, that allocation of that one-time federal funding and how to utilize it, and ultimately the future allocations between the formula federal funding and the balance between our operating and capital budgets. But then also we do have potentially to consider a major investment in our Nestor facility. We are kicking off a planning exercise in the coming months to consider resiliency as well as the operational flow of the facility and its fit for our operations. And then as Steve mentioned on transit centers, these are items that can be funded in the capital plan, but ultimately do result in operating expenses that do occur year over year. And then finally, continued investment in our stop improvement program and general infrastructure improvements, because as we've known on the Nolensville projects and Murfreesboro projects, we've kind of gone from putting nuggets for bus shelters to building sidewalks and working on signals, and those improvements ultimately do benefit our system, but are sort of larger scope in nature.
And I think one of the takeaways would be, I think it might have been Mary who asked the question earlier about, well, if we commit to this, how do we know, does it come in next year's operating budget? So we always have several checkpoints. And probably the next one won't be next year's Metro operating budget or the mayor's proposal. It'll be the next capital spending plan. So obviously our advocacy is going to be to, coming back, all you can do is baseline. Baseline's about $20 million. If you go back on our history with Metro, and you go back on those core state of good repair projects. So, you know, the one thing, and I talked to Faye about this and other advocates, is, yeah, you know, putting money into doing advanced planning and design on Murfreesboro BRT is fun and exciting and all of those things, and super important. But if we're not putting in the core money to replace our fleet, to keep our buildings in a state of good repair, to replace shelters, you know, when they need to be replaced, none of those projects are going to be able to be built anyway. So that's kind of the next checkpoint, and as we continue to kind of calibrate all this, you know, and as you all have that in mind, between now and June for budget and capital plan, and July for service changes, you know, those are some of the, as you're doing temperature taking in the community, you know, the kinds of things that are on our minds.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a lot of content. We really appreciate it. I will say that Metro Council has to approve the budget as it stands.
Yes, it
and
does.
There's going to be a lot of work, so I think all of us will need to mobilize. And I agree that we need to be ambitious, that we get the pandemic, but this is important. So any other, and we'll be looking at the capital spending plan further, right? So this
Yes,
isn't.
yes, absolutely.
Any closing comments, Mary or Jessica, questions? They're speechless. This was.
Jessica's saying, what have I gotten myself
What have I
into?
done here?
I actually have so many comments, but
I know, I know.
I'm speechless. Thank you. Thank you all.
Okay, Mary, any closing thoughts?
I think I gave a lot of
Okay,
thoughts.
great. Thank you. Okay, with that, then, thank you, team. You all did an extraordinary job with that, and we're so appreciative of it. So we will move on from there and have our CEO report.
I'll keep it really quick. First of all, I'd say on the good news front is we're down to 2 employees off on COVID leave right now. So
Great.
like the rest of the world, we're seeing that come down. And I also wanted to magnify what Andy said earlier. Even though the CDC and Metro Public Health have said you can take your masks off, the Transportation Security Administration and WeGo say leave your masks on. So please, when you're riding public transportation, Darius, I know this is a point you hammer home. Please be safe, socially distance to the extent that you can, and wear your facial covering. Invitation to anyone into the sound of my voice to come out Saturday between 11 and 1 to our North Nashville Transit Center site for our community event. We hope to have a very good turnout. I know that we've already gotten RSVPs from Councilmember Toombs, Councilmember Taylor, Councilmember Hurt, State Representatives Love and Dixie, and Senator Gilmore, that they're going to be there. So we hope everybody else will join us as well. Again, I want to express my appreciation to Jessica for going through the appointment process. She was cool as a cucumber, and she and Mary have set the bar on basically leaving the council speechless in their questioning. And again, want to thank our staffs in procurement, finance, and operations for kind of getting us through the Colonial Pipeline crisis, to the point where at one point Kristen Wilson from the mayor's office contacted me, what are you doing for contingency? I'm like, you know, I haven't heard anything about that. Maybe I ought to check that. And when I checked in with Ed and Andy and the procurement gang, they're like, we got it under control. So with that, very appreciative of all of you for the time that you've spent on this.
Thank you so much, Steve. My closing remark would be thank you for being patient with me. I'm obviously an amateur, so I appreciate that. And I also, just the work that the staff does, everybody on the team, from the drivers to the maintenance techs to our headquarters staff, is just outstanding, and we're so appreciative of you all. Remember, we are a little off schedule this month because of the Memorial Day holiday, and everybody enjoy that long 3-day weekend, and remember what it's all about. So with that, if there's no additional business, then we are adjourned.
That was an amazing presentation.
Golly.
Good picture.
We kind of hit a dead end. Right. Go.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.